excited about it. I'm excited to learn and just get out there and, do your thing. Oh, and I do have a dog, just so you know, and he's 15 and it's a lab, and he will never die. Wow. So there is a huge hope for your dog. He's a chocolate lab, and he is 15 and a half years old, and this dude is like still rolling every day up and down the stairs, running around the block, like. And me and my husband are so exhausted. We're like, this dog has seen his day. And we took him to the vet last week, and she was like, he's good. He's good.
Now, what's your dog's name, Eliza?
Bama. Bama. I'm married into this dog. I mean, he's...
Wait a minute, that's your dog's name?
Bama, yes.
Okay.
Not for any sports related. My husband's father, born and raised in Alabama, and he raised chocolate labs, so he named him after his dad.
I'm Amina Lawal. Amina, whichever you'd like to call me.
Hey, flash your name so they know what you're talking
I've been
about.
doing real estate for a month now. Before this, I was working for a pension planning company. I was a part-time student. I still am. Business marketing administration. I have 4 children, twins,
Whoa.
and 3 boys, 1 girl. I don't have
2 sets of twins.
No. Just 1, a boy and a girl. Age ranges twins 5. Boys are 10 and 11 now. I can't keep up. I don't know. But I have no pets. I don't plan on getting any until the kids can take care of it, because that's another child. I got into real estate. I've always thought about doing it. I had a friend a couple of years back who did it, but I'm very passionate about helping people find stability in life who are less fortunate. I struggled with it my whole childhood. I know what it is, and one thing that I know, that adversity does not last forever, especially when you're determined to succeed, period. So through that, I'm gonna use my passion to hopefully excel in my career and navigate other avenues. So that's it.
That's great.
Yay!
Oh, he's going to
All right, our token male
Yeah, I see.
He's still sleeping.
so far.
John Green Sr. I'll start with how I got into real estate. I got into real estate for a few different reasons. I was doing research on millionaires at one point in time. And that was a common theme of this. I'm seeing real estate throughout all these people's foundation. I said, this could be good to build on. My goal ultimately is to build wealth within my family. I want to build some wealth. I want to create something for the next generations to come. And I think real estate is a good avenue to do that. Also, I came from the insurance industry. I was an agent aspirant at State Farm.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
I was an operator, so.
Yeah, so you already know. I didn't really like how it went once I went to the agent's office to see how the program worked. Everything is in-house at this point. You don't really own your book of business. There's no legacy, none of that. So it turned me off to it, because I wouldn't own my book of business. It wouldn't be anything I'd be able to pass down. So I kind of pivot. From there, I went and worked in corporate UPS and HR. In retirement, so I got to work a lot with benefit services, understanding money management, different things of that nature. The woman that sold me and my wife, our realtor, that sold us our home, she kept asking me about coming into real estate then, because I was selling insurance. She was like, you need to come. She was at Keller Williams. She said, exactly. So you need to come. 3 years later, here I am. I have a wife. I have 2 boys, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Oh, my.
And please tell me the 3-year-old is Junior.
Yes. Yes. John Green Jr., that's him. And then our youngest son, his name is Jet, J-E-T-T, Jet.
Oh, that's cool.
I like to my kids.
I love to help people, most definitely. I've done things feeding the homeless, but not with a specific organization. I used to work at a gym as well. I used to personal train. I was personal training director at Gold's Gym. I worked at IMG Academy. I trained everything from preschoolers to pro athletes.
Wow.
So that was and still is my passion, to be honest with you. But with the lifestyle that I wanted to create, the time that I want to spend with my family, it wasn't conducive financially or time-wise to take on that venture. Even though that is my passion, and I still do train. And when my boys get older, I plan on training them when they play sports. But that's me.
Because that takes a lot of evenings and
Oh, a lot
weekends.
of evenings
I mean,
and early mornings. I wouldn't be able to drop them off at school like I did this morning, and I wouldn't be able to pick them up like I typically do to play when we get home. That's very important to me, that time.
good daddy. Good daddy. Yay, John. Erica?
Hi, I'm Erica. I'm from San Diego, California. I moved here about 10 years ago, a little less. I started doing investing. I was an investor when I started here. I was doing loans in California. I was a loan processor. Then we had that crash. I didn't have any good deals coming in or anything. So we got this opportunity over here to invest in Georgia. The houses were insanely cheap, like $15,000, $30,000 we sold our house in California and we started buying houses here and flipping them. And that we did that for 10 years with my husband. And yeah, I've always wanted to do the being a real estate agent. It's just I was just putting it off. Like I was doing so good with the investing, but then I decided, like, why should I just give my commission to someone else if I can do it myself?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I went in and got my license.
Groovy. Okay, now, I'm Stacy Stubbs, y'all know. Native Atlanta, born and raised.
Really?
Born in Piedmont Hospital, and had my 2 sons there.
Both my boys were born there too.
So, I've been, done a bunch of things before real estate. Teacher, corporate jobs, Waffle House, marketing, Waffle House. Politics, worked for the state Republican Party, fundraising, all kinds of things. So, in my job just before real estate was a technology firm, OnStar in GM cars. Well, our company, hey, Katie, would you close the door, please? Sure. Thanks, hon. We developed Embrace for Mercedes-Benz. So, I learned a whole lot about cellular technology and Verizon, AT&T, GSM, CDMA, all this. Anyway, after 6.5 years, I took a break. And I'm hearing this theme. The woman that had been my realtor, who is RJ McCarty, who's in this office, we'd been friends since BK, before kids, and our oldest are 30 and 31, and we went to church together, and so she always was the person that did my transactions, and she said, Stacy, I've been telling you, you can do this, you can do this, but as a single mom, I was afraid of commission. I felt like I needed a salary. So, once the boys got into college and that was taken care of, I said, okay, uncle. So, I joined this office in 2013, so a little over 6 years. And I was an agent, well, I joined staff a year ago, March. So, but all of my teaching and training background really made this a perfect fit. Because yes, I love real estate, but I love spending time with you guys even more than clients.
Do you still sell?
I do. I had a closing last. I've had 2 transactions this year. So, and my last one was a repeat. And the one before that was people I knew through the Atlanta Carolina Club. So I'm not seeking it, but I'll do it if
What area do you live in, Stacy?
Sandy Springs.
Okay, so you're over here.
I'm super close. I bet I have the shortest commute. Thank you, Jesus. I live in Autumn Chase, which is right off Barfield, which is parallel to Georgia 400.
Yeah.
So, boop.
Okay.
So, yes, I host most of the office parties at my place. I mean, staff parties. So, and sometime we'll go over and have a meal together. So I think we have a lot of passionate people in this class that really, okay, we want to help people, but we want to make money. We have a reason, besides supporting ourselves, we have people in our lives that we want to support and build legacies. And guess what? That's what Gary Keller's about too. Gary is an unusual man in that he's kind of an anomaly. Has the hugest heart, and he does everything for the agents, but he's kind of like a porcupine. You don't. I'm not sure I like this guy. He comes off as arrogant,
Sure.
like he knows what he's talking about, and dang it, he does. So he's not warm and fuzzy. But he's already invested $1 billion of his own money into the technology that y'all gonna be learning about. He's willing to invest more. I mean, he's made it, and he's only got one child, so he doesn't have a huge family to worry about. So you'll hear me and other, because they're going to be different teachers, most every class. Those people on the wall over there are some of the ones.
Y'all.
We'll talk about Kellerisms and Gary says, and everybody I'm sure got a copy of Millionaire Real Estate Agent, also called MREA, also called The Red Book, which he wrote with Jay Papasan 2003, 4. Anyway, it's in process to be updated, and so the technology got in the way of the revision. We were expecting MREA 2 a year ago, and Gary paid attention to all of the venture capital being poured into the real estate space, doing all these new, tech things, and said, I gotta protect my agents and make them able to go toe to toe with Zillow, toe to toe with anybody. And here's the inside baseball. Ever since Keller Williams was started in the 80s, we have had something called the green sheet. It was literally a green colored piece of paper that when you had a transaction and you went under contract, you filled it out, and it was just basic information: who's the buyer, who's the seller, what's the address, what's the sales price, what's your commission percentage going to be, and you turn it in to Ellie, the MCA, which is Market Center Administrator. So the office could keep tabs on, okay, how many commission dollars they expect to come in, kind of a cash flow management. Well, the beauty also was with the green sheet, and then once it closed, because some transactions don't close, they terminate for good reason. With the closing, we've been collecting for close to 40 years transaction data. Like we have more than any multiple listing service, because they would routinely purge, after they keep sales data for 8 years and then drop it off their rolls. Keller Williams owns more transaction history data, the details, and the beauty of that is everybody knows what artificial intelligence, it's the new thing.
Yes.
Predictive, being able to predict behavior, predict consumer behavior and whatnot. You start with a big pot of data, and then based on 90 out of 100 transactions at price point 300,000 the seller paid $2,000 in closing costs. We're going to therefore predict in the future that that's going to be the norm, you know. So all of that helps us to be smarter and help our clients. So in the front of your book, if you would, we are not going page by page. I just have a few pages I want to point out. So the very first page is, what do they call it? Mo calls our MVVBP. It is that. So, I hope you know that you have joined a company that has values and principles. We really care about how we conduct ourselves out in the marketplace vis-a-vis our clients, vis-a-vis other agents in our market center, and those that we work with in transactions. I promise you, you will deal with, we call them co-op agents because you're cooperating on a transaction. You will deal with agents not like us.
Yes.
So, yeah, John said already had them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you lower your
Right.
behavioral standards. We want you to be the best agent in the transaction, that's what we say. The most knowledgeable, the most polite, the most prompt to respond to requests or queries. And yes, you may end up doing more of the work because the other agent is lazy or whatever. But you're gonna make more money, I promise. Promise. People prefer to do business with people that they know, like, trust, and make them feel good. It's just human nature. So I'm just saying, if I ever hear, I know y'all are going to make us proud, and the office's job and everybody on staff, it's really two things. Help you be successful and make money. We don't have jobs unless y'all make money, you know, because we're paid off of the commission income of the office. So help y'all make money, get your deals going. And in the early days, as some of you already know, Diane and I will help you do most everything. You know, you do not have to think, oh, I don't know everything. I'm not going to pick up the phone and call anybody. I'm not going to talk to anybody because I don't know everything. You know,
So you're there to, I don't know where you guys are on this, but like I started last week, and
Right. Well, Amina's pretty new, and it is.
Number and speed dial, like literally.
We want you
for everything.
Right. We want y'all to find the business, find the people to work with, and we're gonna be learning a whole lot.
Want to work with right this very second, you're gonna help me.
Yes.
The day that I came on board and signed,
The day.
I had like 3 people that had been waiting
I
on
have
me
a
to
family,
pass.
To get your.
And I mean, I had no anything. I literally had just signed up. Had literally just
wrote
passed
her
the test.
offer for her.
Yes, she did. She did.
But the thing is, it's okay because once you get up, go from crawling to walking, then you
That's
got
the
this.
most intimidating thing, I think, is because you are a sub, and I'm a subcontractor in my other position as well, and I'm a franchise owner, so you're like literally on your own. But that was my biggest fear, was that I'm walking in here and I'm totally on my own, and there's just no one there to help you, and
Oh no.
so that makes me feel so much better to know that you do have that support, and then we're not wasting your time or saying, I don't. Okay.
My entire role is to I answer questions all day long and help you get your business going.
Right.
That's it.
That's fine.
But I said there are 2 things really that the office is charged with. One is to help you get your business going, and the other one is to keep you between the lines, to keep you from losing your license or incurring a fine. So, and it can be done totally innocently. It's rarely from something you say. There are Georgia Real Estate Commission rules about the signs that you want to print and things like that, and they'll give you all the rules. So just know that you should have any design, you should email it to Lynn LaCroix, and I'll get you her contact info before you spend the money to get it printed, because you might have to have it printed again. They're franchise rules. Eliza knows, like you have to have that phrase, each office independently owned and operated, on your signs. I wouldn't have known that, just off the top of my head. Your signs have to be 50% red coverage. It can't just be a white sign with black. I wouldn't have known that, so none of these are dumb questions. But Erica also knows that I'm going, once you explained a few things, I'm gonna push the little baby bird. Okay, you can do this. You can go. So it will be, there'll be a point at which I'm gonna say, okay, now we've talked about this. Do your best, and then come show me what you did, and then we'll tweak it. So, last thing on that point, Diane and I work, and Diane and I are both licensed agents. Felicia is not, and she'll help you with things, but she can't really answer contract questions.
What is her role in the office?
She does help, she can help, she's great with graphics. She can help with
marketing.
Some marketing, distributing information, just answering, I can't get the copier to work,
Office questions.
She knows everything about this office. She's been here the longest, longer than Brad. Oh my gosh, her institutional knowledge it's frightening. But don't ask her which form to use in a contract. You can ask Brad, but I doubt he'd know, because it's been a while since he's. Brad is better at, client situations, but just, Now, just so you'll know, Ellie has a license, hasn't done much with it. She's writes checks. And not Lauren, not Angel. Now, Angel also is available to help with marketing, do flyers and whatnot. She will definitely create your email signature banner.
Okay.
That is a free thing she does.
Okay.
Yes, well, that's what I'm telling you now.
She'll email you what to send her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So just stop by.
The
And-
headshot lady, is she coming?
I haven't seen her on the schedule, but
Or if you can get me her info.
Definitely can do that. And then she can also do some extra things for you, and you might have to pay her because you might have to do it on off hours. So Diane and I do work, all week. We're happy to answer quick questions, preferably via text, evenings and weekends. But what we're not happy with is, if it can wait till office hours, please. But what's not fun is a new agent calling or texting Saturday at 6:00 p.m. Oh, I've got a buyer. They want to write an offer. Can you help me?
I was wondering why you texted me when you were on vacation. I was like, I don't call her all the time. I don't know, but you made it very direct. Like, hey, I'll be in the office this time and this don't. Yeah, I was like, okay. So it must be a problem.
I have been bad in the past
Yeah.
about just working round the clock, and Brad has been on me to protect my off
Personal
time.
life,
Your
work
sanity.
life, sanity, definitely.
Decompress. So, So what I will say to all y'all, if you have clients, like you mentioned, Eliza, let's talk about it during the week, and we can help prep you for the weekend, because, you know, a lot of people are only available to go out and do things on the weekend. Understood. We can help you get all your documentation, all your contract stuff. So, boom, now you're just filling in the blanks. So, prefer to.
Oh, let's say it is Saturday at 6 o'clock and it's my first client. She says, you know what, I'm into this. Okay, first thing Monday. You know, I don't know.
She wants to make an offer?
Yeah.
Okay. What I would ask you is on Friday before then,
Have everything.
reach out to Diane or myself and say, I have somebody, she might want to make an offer. Great, we'll help you set up your loop, prep, do your paperwork prep.
Okay.
So then it's just a question of, I have some questions on some of the blanks I'm filling in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's all I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You have so much to learn. Bless your hearts. Okay. One of the biggest, so on the MVVBP, which is a mouthful.
Yeah.
MVVP.
Mhm.
No, it's M double. Okay, never mind. That won't
BP,
work.
yeah. Does it resonate with you? Did you realize you're coming to a company that thinks like this?
I love the win-win or no deal. Love it.
And you know, that's kind of countercultural. Boy, you're gonna hear Brad say this in sales meeting all the time. If you take the attitude of, and believe me, there'll be clients that wanna win, at the other client's expense. And we coach that we want both sides to be satisfied, not necessarily happy, but at least satisfied. We believe in fairness, and it's just not a win-lose proposition. So now I want to segue. If you go open your chapter 1. Oh, so these are new notebooks, and I just made them up over the weekend. And you'll notice that there's nothing on the tabs because I just bought them. They say you can write on them. I mean, and it's basically 1 through 12. Whatever. Yes. So they're 12 sessions, and so you only have 6 so far, and probably on Thursday of this week I'll have the rest done, and we'll stick them in. Okay, John, would you do me a favor? And so inside the beginning of each chapter, I have cliff notes. Now I've only put in for the first 3 chapters so far. I've gone through, I've really looked at the final exam, at the questions to see, what do they have to know for the exam? And I've made sure that truly the important things and the things you got to know for the exam are in the cliff notes. Okay?
How big is the exam?
It's 50 multiple choice. The last one is, the last question is, what's your greatest aha from Ignite? So you got 2 points there. Right. You do have to score 75. And if you don't, you can take it again. You can take it a number of times. Generally, if somebody, it has happened that because we use those silly bubble sheets, you could get off one, and so then, not to worry. We're going to cover everything you need to know for that exam, so don't you stress about it. Okay, so you got your cliff notes, the first couple of pages, but I want you to just turn to, this is actually the first page of your chapter, and John, Ignite Your Business up at the top. So this is our marching orders. This is what Keller Williams is all about. If you would read the to build.
To build career worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving.
Is that?
It's the story of your
Ma-
life, John.
I know. I was gonna. There you go. There you go. So you're in the right place.
There you go.
Exactly. Okay. So for the rest of our time, we have kind of 4 sections, the first of which we're already in, and that's the word mindset, because your mindset, which is really your attitude and the way you think about things, largely determines your success. Yes, there's luck. Yes, there's connections. But
Your glass half empty or
Mhm.
glass?
Exactly. So to that end, and sorry, but we'll flip back and forth. If you would flip to the end of your chapter 1, to this page, this sort of black and purple and white, and we're not going to read this, I just want to point out to you, Keller Williams has a class called BOLD, B-O-L-D, Business Objective, A Life by Design, but this is the one I want you to look at. And there are some bold laws. They're just mindset truisms. And for instance, do what you always have done, and you'll get what you always have gotten. Let's see. People will grow into the conversations you create around them. No pressure, no diamonds. These are just, but it's all about mindset and not letting yourself get dragged down either by negative or toxic people that you're around. We encourage you to, it's hard to divorce your family members, but we encourage you to find positive, loving, ambitious,
I know.
kind people to that let them be your sounding board and your the people you talk to if you need a little pick me up.
And don't you think, like, throughout this process, you know, you'll start noticing yourself, you know, the people that surround you that demotivate you and draw your energy. Especially when I, you know, go to these little events and I see people that are so positive, and I'm like, what is going on? I need to revamp my whole circle, you know? Like, it makes you think. You'll see.
There's a quote for that. It says,
Yeah.
I couldn't change the people I hung around, so I had to change the people I hung around.
You know? Seriously. You know?
Wow, that should be in the bold laws.
And
Trying
And
to change
a
the
twist on that is you are the sum of the top 5 people you hang around with, something like that.
I send out a quote in the mornings, and it says, don't adapt to the energy in the room, influence the energy in the room.
That's right.
I love that.
My friends think I'm too ambitious.
That's the
I'm
story
like,
of my life.
that's a problem.
Amina, you're right. You're right.
Be like, you just got demoted to associate.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even have to say anything. Just, you know, I like to shyly just distance myself completely.
Yeah.
I don't have, I
Even
really don't, I can't think of one person like that in my life, which is fortunate.
Thank God you're
Yeah,
so
yeah.
fortunate.
Yeah, yeah.
You're so fortunate.
So the role you can play then is with your fellow igniters, which, oh, by the way, y'all are cappers in training. We'll get back to that. You know, if you hear somebody talking, you can. Y'all remember with Toys R Us? What was the giraffe's name? Jeffrey. And he would say, "Let's turn that frown upside down."
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
I tell my kids that every day.
Hey,
Need it.
do you tell Barry that?
He always has a smile anyway.
Okay.
Aw.
He's good.
Awesome. Okay. One of the things that y'all, maybe you know this, but you're in two businesses, according to Gary. You're in the lead generation business and you're in the real estate business. Can't do real estate with no clients. And you will always be in the lead generation business. It will take different forms throughout your career. The early days, the early several years, you'll be somewhat hustling, getting your name out, getting established, finding people that actually need your services. But simultaneously, you'll be, because seriously, there is no money until there's a closing. Okay, so then what about all those other people we all know that are in our phones? We're gonna cultivate them, the good ones, to become part of your cheering section. They can refer business to you. You can train them to be on the listen for anybody in their spheres that needs to buy or sell. And so, therefore, your mission is to turn all of them into the Tiffany, come up with a name, Tiffany's team, so that if they hear, they're going to go, you ought to call my friend Tiffany. She is awesome. She will take great care of you, and you will have whatever, So, because it can be discouraging when you first start out in real estate and you think, oh, there's so many other agents out there. Why would anybody use me? That is called a limiting belief, and we're not thinking that way. There are a lot of agents who do nothing. There are a lot of agents who were active at one point, but they're not really anymore, but they just keep their license active. There are a lot of agents that get not a lot, but there's some agents that get their license just to do one deal and get that money or whatever. Or they just keep it so they can do kind of friends and family occasionally. They're not competition, There are not too many active agents. They're not. There is way more business out there. There's enough business to go around. And a really cool thing that's going on right now that is just awesome for you guys is, Atlanta, great economy, great employment. Everybody wants to live in Atlanta. Because apartment rates, rental rates have gone so nutsy, a whole lot of people are waking up and going, I just can't pay that in rent anymore. That's a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
That's the line. That's a mortgage payment. Guess what?
For those roads to be messed up like that, they gonna charge all of that money. That's insane.
They've got a whole new, right and left people that are waking up to the reality that owning a home makes more financial sense. You are there to get to that. Now, I want to quickly say, to buy a home, there are two parts. There's the realtor to help you find, do all the real estate stuff, but then there's the lender. And there are many persons out there that don't have perfect credit, or they just have too much student debt. You know the stories. Y'all are not qualified or in the business of helping people fix their credit, or now you can lead them to resources, and so getting knowledgeable about resources and stuff is a beautiful thing to do. But I have seen bunches of new agents with big hearts spend a lot of time with folks in their heart. They want to buy a house, but it's going to be a year or two because of their financial situation, and it can happen, but meanwhile, that agent's not getting any closings. So, I'm just encouraging you not to make your entire mission working with people that can't afford to buy a house. Just like diversifying your stock portfolio, whoever has one, you can work with some folks that can't do transactions as well as find some that do. I promise you, you'll thank me for this advice. And along those same lines, another thing that frustrates new agents is, gosh, Stacey, everybody I meet is not going to be ready to buy for 6 months or a year or 18 months, either because they're in a lease or whatever. Guess what? You still need them. You need right now business, and you need 6 months from now business. So bring them all into your fold. Be thrilled that you've met somebody for down the road, because you're not doing this just for a year. You're doing this, your whole working life, if that's your choice. So don't let that be discouraging. Just come on. And we're going to teach you what to do with them and how to keep in touch with them, and let you in on something. It's not really a secret. When somebody says, "Oh, I'm not going to be ready for 6 months," that's partly they think that, but if you reach out to them and half the time split the difference, they may have, warmed up. Don't take them at their word. Don't wait a year to call them back or whatever, because it's interesting how people's timelines speed up. And it may just be, they may not know, for instance, when you close on the 15th of July, you're not going to make your first mortgage payment until September 1. That's like getting a month's free rent, whatever.
Yeah.
So when they're thinking, oh, my lease doesn't end until August 31st, did you put down a security deposit that you're going to get back that's the equivalent of a month's rent? B, you're going to get an extra month because of the way mortgages are structured. So sometimes when people give you that push off business, it's they don't know how the financing works. So I just want to caution you, y'all aren't lenders, y'all aren't I'm not even comfortable asking people what their credit score is. I think that's personal. I think that's their business. Plus, you need to know, and Randy Lip with Certainty Home Loans is going to speak to this a lot. There are 4 or 5 different credit scores that a person can have. You can have consumer credit, which is what everybody has easy access to, your FICO score. But your mortgage credit is different. It's calculated differently. There's a car borrowing one that's different, and I can't remember what the 4th is. But so when people say, "Oh, well, my credit score is 600," it may or may not be exactly 600 in the mortgage world. They need to talk to a lender. Okay. Moving on. All right. There's a thing in Keller World called the 6 perspectives. You really don't need to memorize these, but they're 2 of them I like a lot. On your cheat sheet, if you'll just follow me there, 6 personal perspectives. Self-mastery. Oh, highlighters. And if you would flip to, pardon me, I should have written the page down.
9.
No. Well, let's see what's on number 9.
Mindset attitudes.
well, at the top of 10, actually, they're just, the reason I gave you highlighters is there are some key, very few, key things that they're really good and well written. And I want you, when you prepare for the exam or you flip through this book, these are the things that I want you to know. And it's not really for the exam, it's because they're really, really good. Okay, so at the top of page 10, I want you to somehow mark with your highlighter what self-mastery is. And Eliza, would you just read that? That's what's in the box.
Self-mastery is the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you.
Okay, and the Ignite is all about knowledge and skills. The habits need to sort of come from you, and we're going to talk more about that, the habits. Okay, all you need to know about the 80-20 principle, which, 20% of the people do 80% of the work. It's applicable in all sorts of scenarios. And John, could I ask you the hugest of favors? Would you move over one seat? Only because I've got 3 people in a row and I can't see everybody's faces. Thanks. In Keller World, 80-20. So you already know that the 20% is the kind of the more important, it's the more valuable, whatnot. 20% is your lead generation because that is your dollar productive activity. So when you hear in sales meeting or anywhere in Keller Williams, you can hear, well, I'm taking care of my 20. That's code for my lead generation, finding business. So it's lead generation activities. Enough said. Okay, E to P. Now this is not something to dwell on now, but I don't know who made this up. But anyway, it stands for entrepreneurial to purposeful, and so it's a pathway that the wise sages think we should travel on to make the most money. So, okay, if you would turn to page 11. No, that's not where, I've got another good quote for that on a different page. So, entrepreneurial is sort of, okay, I got up today, I know I need to do this, this, and this, and I'm going to go to Starbucks and I just kind of get to it when I get to it. You just taking life as it comes. Purposeful would be afternoon or evening before, write down the top 3 things you need to get done the next day, and it's like, no matter what comes my way, I'm getting these 3 things done, one of which is going to be doing your lead generation. And lead generation can take so many different forms, from, oh my gosh, your whole day can be lead generation because it's talking to people about real estate. Now, your objective is to find people that need your services. They need you. How are you going to know if they need you? Well, you got to talk to them, okay? It can start out as texting. It can start out as social media posting. But eventually, you're going to get in a conversation. What?
The gym.
No,
Hey!
That's a great.
I'm telling you. So that's why I said it can be your whole day. Wherever you go, it may not sound great at first, but we're going to teach you some things you can bring up, factoids you can drop, that things the average person doesn't know that would be interesting. Then if they don't have any interest, let it drop, But if you don't open your mouth, you may never find all these people that would be happy to use you. Now, the average individual out there, if you just stopped them on the street and you said, can you name 2 real estate agents that you know? Well, they would struggle to name 2 because unless you're doing a transaction, you kind of don't think about real estate, you know, sadly. And so they might say Mark Spain because he's on billboards. And they kind of struggle. I want you to make sure that everyone you know and like names you. So you have to earn that, you know? So you have to prove to them that you're knowledgeable, and that will grow. You know, you're not 100% knowledgeable today. That will grow. That you're caring and you've got a great office behind you until you've got enough transaction experience yourself that you can start talking about your own transactions. So, so purposeful is, okay, here's my schedule for tomorrow, and my objective is to have 10 conversations about real estate with people. Some of it could be in the gym. It doesn't, there's no rule about where, when, but I am going to seek out 10 opportunities or I'm just going to talk all day and have a little something new to share. Hey, when mortgage interest rates, I don't think they're there right now, but when they drop to 3.5%, you can tell everybody, you know, I mean, there's some things that are just big news. Okay, another perspective, to be learning based, always learning. That's pretty self-explanatory. Limiting beliefs, you don't want them. Those are the ones like, I have to know everything before I can do a transaction. No, I've never gone to that club before, and I'm not a member, so I can't ever talk to those people. But whatever, just, you know, throw them out. If you hear yourself, go find a classmate and go, is this a limiting belief? Blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm telling you, sky's the limit. We're about to do a little exercise that'll prove that. Gary has this mantra, think big, act bold, live large. Now, when I first joined Keller Williams, that didn't really resonate with me because I was single mom, but my boys were about to graduate from college, so I didn't have young ones coming along. And I really just wanted to support myself. You know, that was a limiting belief. That was a big limiting belief. So to that point, we're going to do a little exercise. Anywhere in your book, anywhere you can write. I want you to write down, just pretend like it's January 1. How much you'd like to net after the splits with the office. You know, whether it's 100,000, 200,000, whatever. I want you to just write that down. And this would be, you know, to live on.
Within the year, a month?
No, I'm saying pretend like it's January 1.
Oh, okay.
In 12 months, I'd like my income, by the end of 12 months, I'd like my income to be blah. There's more to this story.
Okay. That's right.
And let's also, two bits of magic are about to happen. Number one, nope, I'll save one of them. Magic has happened, and you're making double the number you just wrote down. Okay, I want to hear what that extra money would do for you and your family, whether it's debts paid off, college fund, funded, whatever. Can anybody got any that they can share? Just, I mean, I'm not holding anybody to this.
Tuition.
Oh.
My children go to, private schools.
There you go. There you go. Any other?
I support that. My kids go to private school too, so tuition.
Okay.
I'm gonna pay off my student loans and put some money up and start investing and learn how to do the stock market.
Okay.
I think we would be helping family on my side financially because they're all kind of
Oh,
struggling.
that's sweet.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm with her. Yeah,
That's what
helping
I
out
said.
family.
That's pretty cool.
Go ahead and purchase property for myself as far as building that legacy that I was talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So investment properties.
Absolutely.
Take a big, no, I'm just
Okay.
And traveling. Lots of
Wait. Now the second piece of magic is in your third year, your income doubled again.
From what I did with that first year. Nice.
Okay. So the point is, then, what more could you do, would you do? And what I'm looking for is to consider some things that maybe you haven't considered before, like start a nonprofit, gift $100,000 to Habitat, whatever. Amina?
I'll put my lazy family members to work. I'll buy a franchise and give them a test trial to run it. If not, I'll hire people to run it myself.
But you would invest so
I
you
would
could provide
invest.
employment opportunities
Yeah,
for
without having to
unemployed.
give them money and be their bank account, I'll give them a chance to do something.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, 'cause
Buy a
this-
franchise. Cool.
Yeah.
I love that. One time, and they do this exercise in Bold. Oh my gosh, you just keep doubling. It's mind blowing. One gal, a Swanee, she said, I want all my nieces and nephews to go to college. And that was her big, stretch goal. Tosh McGraves, who is in this office, and she will be teaching you session 8, she had a big goal to take all of her extended family members, and she was, let's say, one of 5 children, and so it was her siblings and their spouses and children on a cruise. And she worked her tail off and raised the money.
Wow.
And took them. I mean, we were just crying. It was really, and there's more to the story because stuff about their parents who were no longer with us, and wow. So Gary's mantra is about that sort of stuff. That's what he's talking about. That we are more than just individuals, wives, husbands in a family. We're just taking care of our business. We can be rock stars for our family and for other people.
Absolutely.
And there is no reason that any of us can't do that.
And still take care of yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
First
Oh, well, we're
and
going to have a good time.
foremost.
My nails are going to look good, So,
Self-love, honey.
just saying. So that was kind of the little inspiration I wanted y'all to feel like, wow, the sky is the limit. And it really, but it's kind of goes back to that self-mastery. All right, what I want to do is take about a 10-minute break. Get up, stretch, go to the bathroom, get a snack, and we will resume.
Absolutely. if I could get my key. My little, what's
The
it
E
called?
key?
The E key.
Yes.
Okay, but they close at
4.
4. Okay.
So what's the time of your,
It's from 1:30 to 4:45. What do you think though?
well, but remember we talked about maybe you'd have to go back again tomorrow.
That's right. So I'll just go.
I wouldn't stress
Okay,
about
okay.
trying to get it all done. Because, you could leave early and get there and there'd be 5 people in line ahead of you. So I just,
That would be good.
mhm.
I also wanted to see if,
How about, we're still filming. We're still,
you had shown me, and was it on FMLS where you showed me the different areas?
Mhm.
I'm new to Georgia, kind of. I've been here for 3 years.
And guess what? You can buy one of those maps at MLS store. Yes, and remember I told you, when you pull in, the Supra store is, but to get your E-key, it is on the front. And the classes are up here. Well, the FMLS store is just on, the entrance is on the back side of building number 1.
Got it, okay. Yeah, I just want to get a little bit familiar with these areas that I have some friends or whatever that are looking, and I'm like, she's like, do you know this place? I was like, oh, I love that place. And in my mind, I'm like,
That is one of the hardest things, is all of a sudden, because we live in a big place, all of a sudden, you gotta know.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, I mean, I started out, I'd work anywhere, I worked for money. Some people that happen to live in a large, prosperous neighborhood like Litchfield 100, they can just do all the business up there, because at that price point, it works. So that's the pendulum of
Right now,
anywhere.
I'm seeing, I have a couple people incoming, because I work in Alpharetta, in my other job, which is great, I love the area, and my daughter goes to school in Johns Creek.
Okay.
So I have a lot of opportunity there, I just need to familiarize myself with some of the areas, especially with this one friend of mine right now, so I wanted to hurry up and do that this week. So over to that store, I just want to study it.
Yes, now you can study it online, or you can get a map, and whatever works for you better.
I'm a very old soul, I like paper.
Go for it, go for it.
But I'll get online too, I know, I gotta embrace it. Will I be able to get back in here? Yes.
Is the
Put the lock on
deadbolt
it.
sticking out?
I put it on there.
Yes, then yes. Yeah,
I open up this door, get a little heat, get some more heat generating back in here for a
that's
second.
fine.
And they have a class on social media for the Georgia MLS. I just got an email.
Yes, I strongly recommend, you can go to Tucker and take it, but,
Well, it's one that's on the 14th. That's in Vinings, Atlanta Vinings Gallery.
Galleria.
Yeah, Galleria. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm focused over here.
No, do what you need to do. Just bump it back. Got a little fresh air.
Restroom.
There we go.
Stacy, do you have any insight for the Rhonda Duffy group?
That's going to be one of those situations in which you're doing more of the work, because now they will tell you that you're supposed to send everything to them, and they'll communicate with the seller.
Yeah.
I asked the seller first, would you like for me to at least copy them? I mean, don't cut the Duffy people out.
Yeah.
But if you've got documents going back and forth, copy them, because they can, if they're motivated, they can get it done faster or get it through.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had scheduled showings for a house. It's a husband and wife that have a daughter that is physically disabled in some way. I think she's going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. So she stays with them, and they've been looking for a ranch. Put an offer in like maybe a month or so ago, and it fell through. They weren't able to get that house for other reasons. And so they know what area, they know what type of house, they know all those specifics. So there's a ranch that just came on the market once Luann went on vacation. So the husband reaches out like, hey, I want to see this house. So I was like, yeah, let me get that taken care of for you. So I put the showing time thing in, no response all day long. They never accepted, declined, nothing. So I reached out to Rhonda Duffy several times. What's going on, what's going on? She's not responding. I'm like, I'm so sorry, let's try to do it for the next day. So I put those requests in, decline. Now they're responding.
We gotta get her out though.
So I said to Ron, I messaged her through showing time, like, hey, can you give me some help here? Because it's the weekend. You guys just went on the market on Friday. I have a client that's really interested in seeing the property. But anytime I'm putting something in, I'm either not getting a response or I'm getting a decline. What do you suggest I do? And she's like, well, we let our sellers do whatever they want. They're in charge of accepting and declining. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm showing it to him later today. But the first request I put in for today, the owner declined it. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, they just went on the market. And if this client loves it, then God willing, like, they can have it, immediately.
Country club, yeah, and everybody wants that.
I've heard this story many times.
The house next door.
So,
I knew it was
from
coming on the
my
market.
own experience, it's
So,
frustrating
but,
working with Duffy to schedule
yeah, she's not
appointments
talking
and do that
that's
sort of
right.
thing.
But she's going to have to.
Once you
because
get
she
to the
is
contract stage,
old.
I find,
She
and
has
believe me,
not-
Rhonda Duffy is
It's
one
almost
individual.
done. Like,
She has
her
a
property is
staff,
Okay.
so bad. And she's
mostly
very
dealing with the
affluent.
staff, but they are
I know.
responsive and more prompt once you're in contract negotiations, just to give you some hope for the future.
So,
Yeah, I found them to be
what?
It is salvageable.
zero
I
help.
would think so. It's
Scheduling
gonna have
appointments.
to be
Gotcha.
like cut
Good to
down
know.
the,
Um,
studs, but.
And if your only option,
You put a lot of money into it if you got it for a good enough price, and then really just gut it out.
Yeah.
with the showing time request, is there any place to write a
on
note?
ours. Just because we were so desperate. I mean,
And there's no way to contact the seller either. Like, hey, what are some
that's-
times that are convenient for you? Because my client can be flexible.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I,
So there's no way of like getting that, but
again, the passion
Okay.
there is the design and everything.
That's me. I love designing. I love.
Zip into the ladies' room. Be right back.
Me too.
Have you tried to see who the listing agent is and contact office directly?
Rhonda Duffy.
Okay, so you've already, I think I heard you say you've already tried to work through the office.
Yeah, I called them a couple of times, and the response was the same.
Everything. Wow.
Now,
So
is
I-
it,
Email?
do you hold your GC
There
license,
wasn't a way
or
to
does
email
your
her.
husband?
No, yeah.
Okay.
It was just the phone numbers for showing,
And I-
or
and
like
I've
the
been
phone
wanting to
numbers
do that
to
too,
schedule the
because it's so
appointment
much
Gotcha.
things.
were her
And I
office,
heard,
and it's
it
a fax
took like
number.
women to do it.
5 years to get
Yeah,
like,
you,
the real estate.
it's gonna be a lot of
So,
different
just,
scenarios,
you know,
and of course, I've only been in this
life work,
few
everything,
months
and
really,
just
but
gets on.
It's
But
hard to
no,
do.
it's gonna be a lot of
I was like, no.
interesting scenarios that play out, but you just gotta figure it out.
Commissions.
Yeah.
I've started,
And that's
like,
fun,
you know, I added
like
all
learning those
commissions
different
that
things
we
as you go along.
throughout the years.
And
of
even going
I
under
still
contract,
don't-
because I was under
And I was
contract maybe
like,
3 or 4
oh
times
my
before I
God,
actually
I
closed this one right
couldn't-
here.
Okay.
I couldn't.
So it could be
I was
different
like, no
things.
way,
One,
yeah,
the
there's
first
no
one I was
reason,
under
there's
was a
no reason for
financial
that.
contingency, so once it went
So I
to
was like,
underwriting,
no,
they kicked it
no.
out.
Yeah, and I wanted something that
Till
would
the
be
offer was
flexible.
already
Like,
almost
and I
in
knew
the
that,
due diligence
you know, my husband
period.
and I, when we had children, we had said that I would go back to work.
Failed
with my
inspections,
youngest
because I was going through Divvy, somebody
She's a
that
year
wasn't
away
quite
from that,
ready to
but I
afford
just
a
thought if I
home,
start
but they
now,
wanted to go ahead and
I
buy.
have a lot of support at
Some of the
home. I
homes
have
that we were able to
childcare,
find
I
within that
have
price
support
range,
husband.
Divvy was able to
So-
allow,
so
which was
why
under
not?
120,000.
Yeah.
So we were able to
I
find
just
a
thought,
beautiful home for
well, you know, because
170.
that class, that's a very demanding
I was very
time.
happy, and it was somebody I actually grew up with, so which made it even better.
Yeah.
Somebody from back home able to get that sale and
I
doing
didn't
beautiful
know,
things.
I didn't know anything, I knew nothing
That still
about
took
it, and
a
I
lot
didn't
of
know
work,
that
and
you had to
even
get
with
a license in order for it to
Your House, the
interactive. I
company
didn't
that
know
I
that
sold
you
it
had to,
with,
like,
the back and
designate
forth was
yourself
crazy.
a role. I
Like,
had
not
no
responding
idea
to stuff,
what-
sending
I
stuff on
really
the
had
day
no
of closing
intention
that
of
should
doing
have already.
Oh my gosh.
It's just,
And
it's
then
just a lot of little
just
things
kinda-
and you can't control it.
I got motivated.
And when I was talking to Terry, she said that her son was in it. And he loved it, he made a lot of money. I said, so why did he leave? He said he couldn't deal with other agents because he's more militant, he came from the
But now you're
military.
kinda like,
Yeah.
So it's just people saying, I'm gonna send this to you on this day to actually do it, but here, it depends
Yeah, I'm
on what
excited
agent
about
you're
that. I
dealing
hope that I
with.
can
Yep.
Some people are reputable.
do that. I get a little
And
panicked
they
when
actually,
I come in here and
they'll send it because they say they're gonna send it. Some will be like,
Yes, my first deal,
oh,
I
well.
was like panicking
So-
because this property was
but like she said, don't be that
like, it
agent.
had like
That's-
30
Yeah.
offers.
Wow.
I don't think I
mine
could.
was like the third.
I was talking to my
And
husband
Stacy
about it
helped-
yesterday, like
Stacy
our,
helped me.
my
No, but I
parents
didn't get it.
instilled like a really strong work ethic.
Yeah, that's
in
what
us
she
when
said.
we were
She
growing up.
offers most of the time.
And we
Why
didn't
don't
come
you
from
love
it.
it?
Like I grew up in a very lower class kind of area. Most
Where'd
of the
you
people
grow
on
up,
my street, I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So most of my neighbors were drug addicts. My dad was a drug addict when I was growing up. We had a bar right across the street.
Oh,
So I mean, like
yeah.
that was my life. You don't really think of it any other way. But my parents still, like my dad got saved. He gave everything up. He
There
got
you go.
clean.
That's great.
And his
Beautiful.
just work ethic, he was a construction worker, like I mentioned earlier. So like he was going and doing his own jobs. He didn't work for a company. He worked for himself. And my mom started working when we got a little bit older. So it's always like we've never grown up feeling entitled. We work for everything and we appreciate everything that we're working for. And so I feel like there's no way when it comes to working for a client that you're trying to help get a house. How can you be lax? Like,
Your mindset is here. We're
Yeah.
here, but not everybody's there.
yeah.
Did somebody knock on the door?
Maybe.
I just went to
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Tiffany, for the first time in
Oh, yeah?
October last year. My husband and I took my children. His mother is from there.
What part of Pittsburgh is she from? Carnegie?
Carnegie.
Yeah, that's why my brother lives.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know if anyone was doing it. I was like, I left this
I
open.
thought,
It's very historic.
I thought I heard
Lovely.
it.
Yeah.
It was very lovely. We had a fun time.
I had to put the lock back out so that you.
Thank you. I was like, I opened this so we could get back in.
I just
Yeah, because she's not paying attention to her clients.
However, it was cold as.
Oh, yeah. It is really cold up
I
there.
was gonna run to the car. But
We still got 2-3 minutes.
we do?
2 or 3?
Yeah?
Let me just run. I'm gonna go get my jacket. It's freezing in here.
Snacks and a jacket.
Don't mind if I like eat, because I'd rather go to FMLS class after this. Did you do that?
Which one are you going to?
The main one, the main class for.
Just how to run the
Introduction
system?
one?
I was signed up for that, but when me and my wife took the boys to the beach, I got my feet cut up. So it was like the next day, that Monday, I couldn't go. Yeah.
What class?
Just learn the
FMLS.
system.
Oh, yeah. You probably know how to use it really well. I know nothing about it.
I went to all the classes.
Did you go to the class?
Yeah, I did.
Did you
I would.
enjoy it? Was
Yeah,
it beneficial?
It is. It is very beneficial. And it's not, I mean, it's pretty, it's not, those boring classes where you just keep on talking. It's pretty interactive.
That's what I need.
You take your computer, because they have a couple of computers that you can use, but it's better if you have your own computer. That way you have access to it.
I gotta go
I'm
back.
still kind of new to Georgia too, so I just need to get my bearings.
And where are you from?
Well, I grew up in Phoenix,
Okay.
but I lived in Florida for about 13 years, and that's where I met my husband after college in
What part of Florida?
Tampa.
Okay.
Familiar with the area?
What part
well,
of Phoenix? I'm sorry.
Scottsdale.
Scottsdale.
Scientology is based there in Clearwater.
What?
Scientology.
Oh, yeah. Are you from Honolulu? No. Oh, okay.
But I've watched the documentaries.
It's like very saturated though.
I'm familiar with Sarasota though.
Yeah,
That
sure.
area,
I lived in
that
Sarasota.
Bradenton. I was at IMG. That's how I know that area.
Oh, yeah, I heard you were from San Diego. So we're West Coast girls.
I know Scottsdale.
Mhm.
But their beaches are beautiful. CSC.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know.
cool.
So lovely, right?
Probably one of the best beaches I've seen. I've been there before.
It's not a great place to have children though.
I wouldn't doubt now. It's a lot of old people there because they got the heart trauma center. They're one of the top ones. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sarasota is actually one of like the biggest up and coming places in Florida right now.
What is?
Sarasota. It is really hip and cool.
Cause you right there.
Okay, even though Amina slipped out, we are gonna, we've got miles to go before we sleep. What is wrong with this clock? To do another new battery. It's distracting that it's wrong. So okay, let me, in general, you'll hear the expression daily lead generation. Now,
I have a story too on that.
lay it on me. I need a story. I need some.
Story to get started. Okay, with lead generation, I was just mostly, when I first started out, I was just tagging neighborhoods within a mile radius around my house, just putting my card up on every mailbox, posting on social media daily. I got a little bit of feedback, but not as much as when I picked up my phone. Literally, I went person by person through my contact list, sent them out. I'm in real estate now. I sent out a flyer. Within moments, I got friends that I hadn't talked to. They're mortgage loan officers, other real estate agents in like Florida, California, one in Colorado, people that I hadn't talked to in a while. And also somebody owned what was it, AC Place, and just a lot of people. Somebody that lived out of state said we're going to be moving to Atlanta next year. Matter of fact, I'm having a conversation with him today. So don't neglect your actual contact list and just letting people know I'm in this, because
Okay, I want to clarify, when you said the people that got back to you, were they mortgage lenders and realtors in other states?
they work. But I'm saying I got a little bit of everything. I was like, I'm interested. I got people saying I'm interested. I hooked them up with the loan officers. Hopefully I'll hear back from that soon. People that are out of state that are moving to Atlanta soon, they want to talk to me. I got a conversation.
That
with
was a perfect lead-in.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, you have multiple ways. Can you give me a minute? You have, one way of making money in this business is transactions. You know, you do the work and you have a client. But guess what? We're part of a huge network. Keller Williams is international, and we refer business to each other all over the country. You could start that day one. Brad says we should all be making at least $10,000 a year in referral income. So how does that work? Typically, although it's a negotiated thing, somebody is moving to Atlanta and somebody from another state's referring. There is a referral agreement, and typically you would share 25% of your commission with that person that sent you the lead. And so you're giving and you're getting. There will be agents in more isolated areas that might advertise, I'll pay 30% referral fee, you know, like little places in Idaho and what I've seen. That so to John's point of going through your phone and reaching out to everybody you know, no matter where they live, you've got to give them the good news that you've got your license, because just like I was saying that everybody, you know, knows somebody and we want to train them to have their antenna up to listen out for you. Same thing all over the country. Referral income. On a smaller note, there might be somebody locally, let's say somebody that lives in Macon and their cousin's moving to Atlanta, and they may be a realtor, but they don't do business in Atlanta, or vice versa. I've had people that they've got somebody moving to Columbus, you know, so there's intrastate referrals and there's, you know, somebody that lives in McDonough and doesn't know anything about coming, might say, hey, anybody wanna, now, there are whole referrals, then there are things like, you've got a buyer client and they just wanna go look at a property way far out of their comfort zone. They might ask you to just do that one time, show that client and pay you $25 for that. And kind of the going rate is $25 per property that you open the door for. So those are just some other ways to make money besides a complete transaction. And so be thinking out of state and who you know, because I'm sure y'all know people. Erica, I bet you still know people in California. And Amina, where in the country do you know people?
New York.
New York?
Chicago.
Mm-hmm. And there are always people moving to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So we have a guest, Dominique Garrett, who, gosh, have you hit 2 years yet?
In a couple weeks.
Dominique is my neighbor. She sits 2 offices down from me, and so fairly new, but she didn't take off really the first year, but then some things came together and she's killing it now, so she's gonna tell you how it happened.
Awesome. So hey guys,
Hi girl.
thanks. So yeah, like she mentioned, I've been in real estate for about 2 years now. And when I first got started with real estate, I came from another job. I was doing marketing and promotion. So most of the time I was traveling all around the country and just trying to do real estate, you know, a couple days out the week. And just for me, I found that it didn't really work out as well as I wanted it to. So I had to pretty much just, you know, jump off and quit that job and just go all in with real estate. So I did that last November.
She's talking to you, Sherry.
Who's Sherry? Who's Sherry?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Sherry.
So yeah, I mean, I just did it, and I mean, things have been pretty fine for me. I've been closing at least like 2 deals every month since, and yeah, I absolutely.
Okay, but hold. You didn't
Sorry,
just go from.
Did I completely
Okay,
just skip something?
I just quit my job, and now I'm closing two a month.
That sounds really
Like,
easy.
what did it
Kind of.
take? Because initially it's not, you know.
Yeah.
So okay.
Okay.
Well, the
Number
main
one,
thing.
did you have some savings that gave you the confidence or peace
No.
of mind?
Actually, I didn't. I really didn't.
Woo! So
Now there's a
must have been
motivator.
motivated.
Risk
So okay, so
Yeah.
oh man, it's gonna be like all day. But basically, so with my other job, I really just got to a point where I was so unhappy. It was literally like I'm waking up, or it's like the whole day before. I'm hanging out with my friends and just knowing that I got to go to work the next day. I'm not in a good mood. So it really just got to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm sitting here out of state working this job, and then I have out of state clients coming into town. They want to go look at homes, so then I'm having to pay other agents to take them out, and it just got to a point where it just didn't make any sense to me.
I remember those
So-
days.
Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, I just left that and decided to focus all in on my real estate. And fortunately for me, I feel like a lot of my success came from my social media, because I always had a pretty large social media following. But the main thing is just you got to reach out to your sphere of influence, because they're usually, actually my first listing, my first deal was from somebody that I've known for like 10 years. So definitely talk to the people who know, like, and trust you, because they'll be the first people to work with you. But then also, if you guys do like open houses, or the main thing is you just got to get in front of people. Get in front of people, see what their needs are. Everybody has to live in a house, so just see how you can help them, pretty much. And
So you can't be afraid to talk.
can't be afraid to talk. And the main thing, and this is kind of what I struggle with, but I'm working on it, is you got to get consistent. Whatever lead generation you decide to do, you got to get consistent. And I know, like with me, open houses are a really great source of business, but I know sometimes you might do an open house and nobody comes, and you're like, dang, I'm not doing no more open houses. But you can't think like that. Like, you got to be consistent. You got to be doing your open houses, whether it's 2 times a week or once a week. You got to be consistent, and eventually those leads, like now it feels like leads are just like falling into my lap all the time. So
And when you say
open house, I'm sorry.
I was going to say that probably the same thing. When
Are
you
these
say an
your
open
listings?
house, are they your listings or you're doing it for other agents, or you're just
I-
going and showing up?
So I've been working mostly on the buyer side for right now, so I do other agents' listings. So, you know, we have plenty of agents in this office that have a bunch of listings. Just start, sometimes they put them on the,
Facebook page.
yeah, the Facebook page is definitely where I go find a lot of my open houses.
Facebook or
Yeah, I'm gonna, fill y'all in on exactly how to find an open house to hold.
And then just networking with other
Alicia
agents.
sends them. No.
But, yeah, just get in there,
So
ask
just do
people.
it for your own time and hope that you get judged.
Well, the deal, most of the time, is that if you're holding another agent's listing open, any unrepresented buyers that come along, you get to try to land as your own clients.
And sometimes you'll get lucky. You'll actually like get some nosy neighbors that come that actually really want to sell in the next year or so. So then you get both sides. Because that just happened to me actually a couple weeks ago. So yeah. So that's really when things go really perfect. But yeah.
Cool.
You guys got any questions for me?
For you.
That's
That's amazing.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, I am Dominique DOMINIQUE
Michelle.
Yeah, that's me. So yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram too. I am Dominique Michelle. And yeah, cool. Well, if you guys ever have any questions or anything like that, like she said, I'm just a couple of doors down, the third office on the left.
So you work in the office every day?
I try to come in every day because it helps me focus a lot more. Like before I was working at home or working at local Starbucks, anywhere like that. But for me, I get easily distracted. So I find having, you know, an office space is best for me.
Being consistent.
Yeah, being consistent. All right.
When you first started and you were receiving people that potentially wanted to purchase, how did you determine which lenders to go through? How did you set up that whole network?
Great question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. So
Do your buyers come with lenders most of the time, or?
sometimes, but I actually just went on like the Atlanta Realtors group. They had like this random new construction tour that I went to one time, and I met a lender on that tour, and I just really stuck with her. She's been amazing. I mean, my clients, whenever they speak to her, they love her. She, you know, informs them about everything, and so
What's her name?
Janine Gore. But yeah, she's pretty amazing, and she's with New American Funding. If you guys want to look her up, but yeah, I just been comfortable with her. I have been speaking to some other lenders. So I have some other. You always have to have multiple, like any vendors that you have. Make sure you have multiple. So I do have some others, you know, on the backup, but.
Is there one here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because people get busy, people go out into business.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, we best practice 3 of everything.
Yep.
Wonderful, thank you.
But yeah, that's the next thing. Make sure that you have your team together of, you know, credit people, mortgage people, inspectors, everything, because that will make you look really good to your clients if you have the team. That's what really.
Develop that sheet. Do you have it on a sheet, or do you have it on your website, or?
No, I need to put that together, but I'm able to I usually just put it together in an email. Like I just copy, you know, those contacts and put it right in the email and send it to people. But that is what I would want to do, is put it clearly on a whole sheet. Just to get around to
You
it.
emailed us lists, right?
Yeah, there's a
different
office.
vendors and stuff too. Yeah.
I probably have.
It's been a little while, but yeah, you did send out like the Keller Williams vendor list.
Yeah, preferred vendor.
But that's a great
back
thing
of
to
our
start.
calendar too.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so that's a great one to start with. I mean, that's what I did, especially like with inspectors and stuff like that.
But yeah, the point is that you have a team instantly, you know, right out of the gate. Because I explained to them that their job is to, both the people they already know and with new people they meet, convince them, I mean, I gotta like them, but convince them that you know something and you can do the job, you know. And most of it is being a resource person. Yes.
Within the first year, you know, when you started off, how long did you get demotivated, you know, like unmotivated during the process? And how long did it take for you to implement your consistency that you realized that you needed to, you know, like work through that process?
Yeah, Yeah, I definitely got unmotivated a lot. So that's the thing. Like, you definitely have to figure out what your big why is and refer back to that all the time. My big why was my family, and just because I hated my other job, I just wanted a job that I really love. But then, wait, what was the second part of your question?
Like the consistency.
Oh, how to get consistent. So again, that's something I'm honestly still working on. And so that's been really the biggest piece of my first 2 years in real estate. I'm not even gonna lie. It has been a self-development journey. And I am still working on it right now. I mean, I have,
Do you remember E to P? I mean, going from, that's, she's
but
she's on that journey.
yeah, like seriously,
And we all
I mean, it gets very tough. I mean, sometimes even just, it doesn't even have to do with business. Personal stuff starts to get in and, you know, tries to beat you up. But you just gotta remember the ultimate goal, really, and stay positive is the main thing. And what can help with that, I coach with Amisha and also with Terry. So get a coach, get an accountability partner, somebody that's gonna, you know, keep you motivated, and that will really help as well.
It's awesome.
Sorry, one more. Thank you for your transparency. But if you get a client, let's say, and the what they qualify for, there's just so few houses that, how do you kind of, I mean, I don't want to say step away, but there's just not a lot that you can offer them, and they're wanting listings every single day, like something hit the market.
Okay, we got several. Yeah, we've got several things to speak to that. So I'm gonna let Dom, because she doesn't. She's not the only one with the answer to that. John can speak to that, but also, yay.
Can I give her her card? I just want to see if she'll share her team with me.
She hasn't put it all together. She's going to, and then she will share it.
Wonderful. Thank you. I got you. Thank you.
No problem.
Are you in FMLS when you create a search? Are you aware that you can either have it go daily, but you also have the option of saying ASAP, meaning as soon as they hit, it could be any time of day.
Oh no.
I'll show you that later. So that's just one option. John, share your resource.
I need to get that option too.
Oh, okay.
The ASAP one.
Okay.
Just FMLS, the Georgia MLS, you can get on that one as well. Keller Williams site, I was on that one a whole lot.
Okay, but yours, the last scenario was a little bit of a twist. It wasn't just that there weren't enough properties, but you had some folks that could not buy quite yet.
Oh.
But the lease purchase, now every new agent, everyone will say, I've got somebody that wants to do a lease purchase. Let me tell you, that business belongs to companies that lease purchase. And what they do is they have the deep pockets to buy the house, pay you a commission for having represented that buyer. They might lease for a few years and then buy it, but they can afford, if that person decides not to and walks away, they can afford to then turn around and lease it to something else. Individual homeowners don't do it anymore because, like, a very high percentage, 90% of people after that first year, their financial situation is no different than it was a year ago. They still got the same debts and the same credit score. So now they've just lived in your home and used it for a year, and okay, well, I think I'm tired of this one. I'm gonna, it just doesn't work out for homeowners. It doesn't work out for sellers, so they're dumb if they accept a lease purchase. However, to the rescue, who is this company?
The company that I work with is called Divvy Homes.
DIVVY.
DIVVY. They have a network that's out of, I believe, Memphis, I think, Atlanta, and California. I spoke to some people in Texas.
Okay, well, just tell them how it works.
All right, this is how it works pretty much. Your client or whoever you're working with, they may not be eligible. The reason why my person wasn't eligible is from some bankruptcy issues down the road. His credit is good. He actually has some money saved up, but he can't purchase a home right now due to him choosing bankruptcy to kind of reset his credit. So what they ask for you to show a certain amount in the bank, which is pretty much 1% down. That's all you got to put down on the home. So you keep that in mind, 1% down. And actually, it was less than that by the time we closed, because they had a special. If you close within July, then we'll pay $1,000 towards closing. So they only had to pay it was less than $1,000 they had to pay to move back, which was a blessing. And they typically pay 100% cash, which is good. That gives you leverage as far as making your deals. We have a cash offer with quick close. Any seller is like, okay, I like that.
Yeah, I'll pick you over
I'll
a
pick you
competitive
over them.
offer.
It's the APR.
Yeah, and it's typically no contingencies. Mine is the home being in a
Gotcha.
state to be able to be lived in. Of course, you got to be able to pass inspection. So yeah, and it can get kind of tricky because you're working with your client, which is the person that you're riding around with looking for houses, but at the same time, your client is Divvy Homes, so you got to be in contact with them as well as your client that you're working with and possibly the seller. So it's a lot of moving parts, but it was great. It was a great experience.
So your people, how long are they leasing?
They're leasing, and they structured it right at the beginning. So how Divvy works is, at first they gave us a price range, like they got to buy a house under this range. But then I started finding homes in these different pocket areas, and it's not even so much the dollar amount, it's the market rent value of the area that you're buying in. It can't exceed whatever their limit is that they've set for Divvy for that client, which can get kind of tricky in certain areas that you're trying to buy. So you just have to find something, because like she said, if they don't decide to purchase the house at the end of the 3 years, it's Divvy's property. So Divvy wants to be able to rent that property out at a reasonable market rent. So that it can get kind of tricky as far as finding.
Well, it's more work. It's more complicated.
Absolutely.
More complicated,
Because
but
you not only
but
got to
it's an
find a
option.
house, then you got to check with Divvy. All right, I found one that was under 120 because we ended up buying it like 117.5. And they're like, oh, well, no, the market rent on this one is X amount of dollars. We can't do this. I'm like, oh. That's
So they're the ones that tell you what the market rent would be.
Yeah, for whatever area that you're buying
It's
in.
convenient for them.
Is
Yeah.
there a limit on the purchase price? I mean,
No, it's
Well,
it's whatever the client can qualify for through Divvy, because Divvy has their own team and they have their own lawyers. They like Spruce Holdings is who I had to close through. Everything's pretty much in-house Divvy. It's Spruce, it's Divvy at Spruce or something like that. So they got
But
their
it was
own
a good
department.
experience, and the nice thing for John was it was actually a sale, even though his clients are initially going to rent. They treated him. He had a sale, and so he earned a commission. Now let me contrast that real quick. You're gonna run into plenty of people that say, "Will you help me find a rental house? I want a house, but I can't qualify to buy." And you're gonna be tempted, and you'll probably help a few people. Do you know how much you're gonna make on that?
Less than $300.
Yeah.
oh, now
And you could be running all over the world. I mean, I will, depending, you can say, well, I'll take you out one day, like one Saturday, but after that, because so many rentals, or even they're through big management companies, and you got to deal with them in terms of the application and all that kind of stuff and the credit check. There's just no money to be made in helping people find rentals. See, John's situation was different. But mind you, he didn't, when your client first, you got together, did you already know about Divvy?
No, Terry actually told me about Divvy because of that reason. He came to me as wanting a rental, and I've known him from back home. We went to the same high school. He was a few years younger than me, but I said, man, whatever I can do to help. And that was my mentality. Even if down the road they do decide to buy a home for me, or they can say that John helped me or whatever, but we ended up figuring out a situation where he can go ahead and buy now. Or be able to get into the home that he wanted, lock it down, and then within 3 years he can buy it back from Divvy. And they break down all stipulations too.
Okay, and Amina was asking about the interest rate. Is it competitive with, is it fair relative to, or is it one of these situations where, okay,
It's a deal, but there's a catch.
Not really, because before he can buy the home back from Divvy, he has to be able to gain financing from a lender. So it's
Outside of Divvy?
outside of Divvy.
Ah, so he doesn't have to do his financing through
He's
Divvy.
not
I
doing
like
any
that.
financing. It's
I like
lease
that a
to own
lot.
Purchase, and from what I was hearing,
That
I was
makes
talking
him
to some other
accountable,
people. I don't know if it wasn't transparency before within Divvy as far as the cost, the fees, and all this, but I think they've kind of changed their structure because each and every time that I presented a home, they gave a breakdown sheet that he had to sign off on before they would sign off on the offer before I could send it over to even be
Which is
looked at.
more work,
Yeah.
but it is transparency.
Yeah, very much
And I
so.
bet it wasn't always that way, but
No, but it broke it down like first year they're gonna have to pay, I think it was like $1,100 or something, and it may go up by $200 up to the third year. But the good thing is they're taking some of that back, Divvy is, and they're putting it towards the down payment of the home.
so yeah, I mean, it ended up being a really good experience. I do not recommend anybody major in this.
Yeah.
It's an option.
Yeah.
You're going to be on this journey now of finding out about resources, you know, but you don't want to just be a resource. You want to have closings. So to that end, this is going to be your new favorite object, the lead generation funnel. I love it though. So
Is this on one of our pages?
Oh yeah. It's
it is,
29.
and I just want to talk about it.
Okay.
The concept is, you know, I said we don't get paid until we close on a transaction. So the reason it's a funnel is because you go from more to fewer. On if you have a client that buys a $200,000 house, 6% overall commission, each side getting 3%. So what would be your commission if you were representing the buyer on a $200,000?
6,000.
6,000 gross commission.
Minus 30%
So yeah, we're getting there.
royalty.
Let's just stick with the gross for now. Okay. Now, I don't know about you, but let's pretend like it was net after taxes one. I'd be real happy with $6,000 a month. Okay. So even if if it were ended up being 3,000 after all this stuff, worse, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot of transactions in a given month unless it's at the lowest possible price to live, okay? It doesn't take, 2 a month is beautiful. 2 a month is beautiful. Okay, so to get to 2 a month, yes, you have to kiss a lot of frogs. You have to talk to people, and if they're not frogs, it's just they don't need you now, or they don't qualify, or you decide you don't want to work with them. They're unrealistic. Whatever. So you talk, finding people that you want to work with and that want to work with you. So a lead is somebody that needs you. Now, Zillow and other data aggregators, that's what we call them, because they're not a source of information, they just pulled from the MLSs. They call a lead anybody that goes on Zillow and clicks on a listing to look at the pictures. Have we all done that and we're not in the market?
It's not personable at all.
Well, that
Not
too.
qualified.
But right. So the sad thing is, because Zillow's so big, they've sort of hijacked. Historically, a lead was an identified person that needs to buy or sell. Nowadays, it includes anybody that's searching online. So now you can really see, if you were considering every human that breathes, woo, there are a lot of leads out there. They're not qualified leads, okay? But anyway, so you're qualifying them. So what's the first thing? You don't go from meeting somebody at an open house Sunday afternoon, talking to them, and you're having a nice conversation. How do you think you get from that nice conversation down to here? You're going to go through some steps. We strongly recommend that the first step is that you set an appointment with them, because buying real estate is not like buying a book bag, a pair of shoes, groceries, that your life savings is not gonna, it doesn't depend on that trip to the grocery store. But that home purchase is the largest thing most people are gonna do. Yes, investors are in a different category. So, people I don't know of anybody that commits to working with a realtor that they haven't even sat down with. It's a big thing, yes?
Question. So speaking of that, my best friend of 12 years, married, husband, and she calls me and asks me, I was hosting an open house, she calls me and asks me saying that her HOA locked her. She couldn't get into her neighborhood for some reason, everything,
Oh, it was gated?
Yeah. So she's asking me about something as far as that, and she says to me they had already had an agent that they, had initially when they purchased the house. Now they're looking for another house. So I was kind of irritated because I was like, okay, well, why don't you just call your agent? Why are you asking me? But I didn't say that, obviously. Obviously, I didn't say that.
Okay, this is a very, very typical and common thing.
And I'm like, you could be like using me. Like, if you gonna call me for information, why don't you use me and not?
Okay, Amina, did those words come out of your mouth?
No, I
Or did
said
that
no, none of that came.
Okay, that's what you were
I
thinking.
was thinking of it in my head.
Okay.
But
All right.
everything.
Let
came out.
me explain something.
What do I do about that? What do you do?
People, well, first of all, when people even come to an open house, I'm just backing away from that for a second. And you're looking for clients. Let's face it, that's what you're doing. You're not trying to sell this house, you're looking for clients. We, by the real estate law, the things we pledge to, we don't steal other people's clients. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first thing besides, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Are you working with another agent? Now, if you just hate salespeople, you're gonna say yes, okay? So sometimes when people say they're working with another agent, they don't want to engage with you. They don't want that used car salesman experience that they think is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not with any of you, but that's number one. Number two, people think that whoever was the last agent that helped them, that somehow they're their agent for life, then they have to use them again.
So that's why I didn't get an attitude, because I was like, okay, maybe she has loyalty towards this person, but I'm just like, okay, you couldn't even call them for a basic question, and I had to call my sponsor and ask her about the situation.
Okay. Remember what I said earlier, that not all agents are going to be professional, well-trained, forthcoming, quick to respond, like you guys are. So, and believe me, we're all going to have friends. They knew I was in the business. Why did she list with? Happens to everybody. What's the antidote to that? The antidote is to keep in touch with all the people you know, impress them with your real estate knowledge and ability and your willingness to help, and you be top of mind so that you are the person. I mean, it's a backhanded compliment that she called you.
Yeah.
Backhanded. Now, has she committed, and when you can be working with a realtor, but until you have signed a buyer broker agreement or a listing agreement, you ain't really working with them.
Yep.
So
You're chatting. You're chatting with them.
So I need to just, follow up with her and be like, hey, so what's going on?
No.
Or no?
Not like that.
Okay.
Not like that.
You know what I
Okay,
mean.
is she in the market? Is she doing something?
Yeah, she has somebody like showing her house apparently.
Okay.
With, you know, and I'm like,
Have you signed a buyer broker agreement with?
None.
You can always ask that.
none of that. Oh, so I can ask, you know.
That is
Of
totally
course, I'm
legit.
not gonna
Or
say
what
like,
about-
so
what about,
what's
like,
going
just,
on?
like, casually
but-
calling her for something else, like find an excuse to
It-
call her,
yes.
and then just be like, by the way, I know you have mentioned to me that you're
Mhm.
looking in, Brookhaven,
Mhm.
and yesterday when I was showing another client of mine a home, I had noticed that there was this house, and I think
Something you might
really
like. Okay, yeah.
and see if maybe she'd be like, oh, can you show
Let's
it to
just
me?
go look. Mhm.
She's gonna be like, give me
Okay, but then, and whether this is a friend or not, when that situation comes up, and it's gonna come up for every one of you, I
As long as you're not
promise.
working with somebody else.
Right,
Of course.
you have to clarify, and there's that distinction between working with somebody else and signing an
Right, right,
agreement.
right.
Implied,
Customer versus
it
client.
has to be, you know,
Right,
mutual.
right. If now, to be a person of integrity, if you pretty much are convinced they're working with somebody and that person is working for them,
Yeah.
even if they haven't signed a buyer broker agreement, you know,
That's pretty legit.
Yeah.
I would say, you know,
Yeah, don't
if they're serving you, stick with them
Yeah.
because we respect each other in my
Yeah,
industry.
Definitely.
But and I always have people, well, I got this person, but they're not doing anything. That can happen when, let's say, they've gone to a lender, and then lenders will keep some agents on that they say, oh, you want to buy a house? Call this agent. But they're worthless. You know, they're not doing anything for them. But you got to verify that they have not signed a buyer. If they've signed that, it is hands off.
Yeah.
Or you could lose your license. Don't go there.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
But the way to not, I mean, I can't change your friend who's already
Oh,
doing whatever, but you get the word out. You know, be the person that everybody goes, oh,
yeah, obviously you
I can
can't
use
take
a license."
everything seriously, but I just thought that was a little odd.
It burns. There
Yeah,
are things.
Like, oh, burn! Yeah, it was a burn. It sure
Yep,
was.
yep. Things will. That's why we have a funnel, because there are going to be more people that you're talking to than you're going to close with. We have to let it go.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes
Put your
it's a
energy somewhere
disappointing
else.
thing.
Mhm.
Right. Okay, so back to this is a big purchase. It's a big decision. You need to set appointments. Has everyone met with Terry? I know you haven't, Eliza.
I have.
Oh, you
I mean,
have?
I've met with her about a couple things. I don't know if I've like had the actual meeting, but we did like a goal setting thing.
Mm-hmm. Have you met with her?
No.
You're going to do that. Everybody else?
And I have an appointment with her this week.
She's free coaching.
Oh,
Oh, really wonderful.
She will help you
I'm gonna skip.
say, okay, I want to make 150,000. Okay, what do I have to do?
I did that exercise with her, and I was like,
What do I have to do? And she has the math formulas to go, okay, if you
She
want,
broke it down.
she does.
if you do this, then that means you've got to have so many clients,
Listings.
under, and get under
Wow.
contract. Oh yeah, it's just a formula. So
Yeah.
that's why you want to meet with Terry. But all that to say, in terms of, okay, what is my objective this week? It's to set appointments with people that need my services, because now you're on the yellow brick road. Okay, until you get appointments, you ain't on the yellow brick road. Because it's such a big purchase. This is not something you just chat about on the phone. We need to get together. Okay, so you have an appointment. Y'all are all wonderful, and I bet you're going to bat 1,000, and you're going to have a 99% conversion rate. I mean, I have a 99% conversion rate. Everybody I've met with has said, yeah, I'll work with you. That's the first thing you do, is the agreements. That's getting the listing or getting the buyer to sign the buyer broker. It's not hard. Setting the appointment's the hard part. Meeting with them and getting them to agree to work with you is not hard. Most people, in sellers, they will only interview one agent, and it's kind of awkward and intimidating, and confidence. I want you to have confidence. So this is just getting a listing agreement signed, or a buyer broker agreement. Then you go to work. I'm going to teach you how to sell a listing, how to find properties. Da, 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 da. This is where, we're under contract. That's magic. And then eventually you close. So it's a funnel because it's possible that not everybody you meet with wants to do business with you, but I bet it'll be a very high percentage. Now, not everybody that you start working with will close, sadly. It's just, there are things that happen. So, I just want you to think, this funnel, that means I've got to talk to, if I want to have 2 closings a month, I can't just talk to 2 people. That's the point. That's the takeaway. That's just the way it is. So, to achieve that, somebody a while ago came up with this thing called the Daily 10-4. And it's sort of this is my daily vitamin I'm going to do. If I do this every day, I'm going to succeed. Now, in its current form, it's a little old-fashioned, so we're going to tweak it. But anyway, the Daily 10-4 is add 10 people to your database, and we haven't even talked about database yet. That's the topic for tomorrow, Wednesday's class. Talk to 10 people about real estate, anytime, anywhere, at the gym, but bring real estate up. And it can be because they may be in the market, but if they're not in the market, then you're just planting the seeds of, oh yeah, Eliza's my go-to real estate advisor. So that's what you're. So we have 10 additions, 10 conversations, 10 follow-ups. The old-fashioned way was that you wrote a handwritten note to everybody you talked to. Great in theory, nobody does it. You don't always have
They're me and my old soul.
So, if you do it, that it's a beautiful thing because so few people write notes that you stand out like nothing doing. I think though.
Notes with me.
There you go. There you go. No, I encourage. It's beautiful. I'm all for it.
But put a gift card in there.
Right.
But if you know that you're not going to write those notes, just send them a quick text.
Yeah.
Great to talk to you today. I look forward to. So it's a one-way communication. But so when it says the 10 handwritten notes, just some sort of follow-up acknowledgement, bless them, thank them. You have to make yourself memorable. We're competing for headspace to be one of the 2 realtors whose names they remember. And then the last thing is getting to know the market. This is the fun, easy thing. Preview 10 homes throughout the course of a week. It's not hard and fast. You have to go to 10 in person. You can, but if you're looking at one online, you better be looking at all the pictures because, this is for your benefit to get to know. So you can focus on an area. Brookhaven, Cumming. Eliza's going to get to know Cumming. Or you can say, I'm going to look at everything that's a 55 plus community, whatever. It's wide open. The more, and the benefit of this is when you're talking to people, I was looking at a property, and they don't know you're looking online. It's okay. I was looking at a property, and you're mentioning. You're telling the truth, but you're demonstrating that you are knowledgeable and that you are trying to keep up with the market. I'm never encouraging anybody to lie or exaggerate. You do the work, you do the kind of the research, the learning, and you can talk about it. And people will go, dang, you know, it makes an impression on
What are you
people.
talking about?
Exactly. That's the whole point. Okay, if you would turn to page 28 real quick, get out your highlighters. This may not be printed in your book. Oh, okay. So instead of highlighters, I'm going to, the 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see what will it take for you to get paid so you can begin to fund your big Y?
Yeah.
You see that? Okay. I want you to write this in. Lead generate every day, and you can abbreviate. Nobody's going to look but you. Lead generate every day. Some of us just put LG.
What page is that on?
28. And it's the fourth question. Number 2, build your database of contacts. Three, communicate with people about real estate daily. I think that's just a good way of thinking of it. Communicate with people about real estate daily. That's what lead generation really is. Next one is commit to go on a lot of appointments.
And one again was,
Lead generate every day. And the last one is practice scripts to get better. That is sort of the summary of everything. Now, I was very resistant to the word scripts because it sounded scripted. And I don't want to use somebody else's words. It just, whoa, scripts. Ah. Now, the way to deal with that is, what are you going to say when a prospective seller asks you, your answer is your script. You want to be consistent,
Just to
you know?
refine your communication skills, enhance yours.
Right. So there is a whole script book. I want to show you. Okay. Okay. I went to, let me show you how I got here, because this is available to you online. You don't have to go, you can just watch me. So I'm on the MyKW landing page, right? I click on education up here in the black bar, click, and it takes me to Keller Williams University. Here's an Ignite square. Click anywhere on the square, and it looks like a blank page. So I have to scroll down. Click on Student Resources. Oop, I didn't click very well. And wow, here are all the power sessions.
Oh, I saw this somewhere. The script.
Come to down to the bottom part where it says additional resources. And here is Ignite Scripts.
Okay, so this is kw.com, right?
So, I'm just demonstrating. Let's see.
How about like,
I'm gonna go to one right
a
now.
listing
I'm gonna print
appointment?
this out. I'm gonna print that out.
Okay. I'm not gonna read these, but you're at a buyer consultation and you want them to sign the buyer brokerage agreement. We read through these, I'll read this one. What we're going to do now is sign the buyer representation agreement, which puts me to work for you. You're giving me the tool I need to represent you in your purchase. With this tool, I have the opportunity to negotiate for you and get you the best deal.
And getting the best deal is important to you, isn't it? Perfect. Then let's do the right thing, sign the buyer representation agreement, and put me to work for you. I would never say that much. That's like way too much.
Data dump.
Definitely.
It's definitely a way to condense that.
Right. So, but the point is, have a response for when they say, well, why do I need to sign this? Number one, it is the law in Georgia. You cannot represent somebody and negotiate a contract. I mean, you can run around and open houses for them to look.
Frauds.
You can't, what?
What is it? Statute of frauds.
I'm not sure.
The
But it's-
contracts have to be written.
You have to, a licensed agent, you have to have a signed agreement with that individual in order to represent them. Otherwise, the other agent, the co-op agent, can just like, who are you, and cut you out. We don't want to be cut out. We want to make a commission. Likewise with a seller, unless they sign with you and commit, they might leave you in the dust and go with somebody else. So this is protecting you.
Exclusive right to sell.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, and on the purchase and sale, I think it's purchase and sale. Anyway, I will be showing you. You can't work for somebody. Now, there are agents that will say, "Oh, I've never signed a buyer broker." Well, just you can't. You're running a risk of not getting paid, of getting burned, of having them you do all the work and then they walk away and go sign up for something without you. Okay, anyway. But my point about scripts was, all scripts are the answers to questions. The answers to questions that typically come about in real estate. And answers to objections raised. Well, you want to get a listing. Well, I talked to so-and-so and they'll do it for 5%. Would you do it for 5%? I wish I could, but I just can't. May I explain why? And then there's this scenario we'll share with you about bringing 6 $1 bills. And you put the 6 ones out, and 3 is going to go to the buyer's agent, 3 for the listing, 1 is going to go to the broker, 1 is going to go for taxes, and the 1 is left for you and your marketing expenses. Which one of these did you want me to give up? So there are several effective ways to.
I like that. So we're not going to market this property.
And everybody wants to save money, so there's no crime in asking that. But anyway, you will have many more conversations about that. So scripts are just how we handle the questions that are asked.
It's a guidance tool.
Mm-hmm. And so it's not I have to memorize this long thing. Don't think of it that way. However, I would recommend that if you want to go through the script book online, make yourself a copy if you want to know, what are the typical questions or the typical scenarios that I need to be prepared of, and so answer in your own words, but so it's a guide. Okay, and our last category, survey says, our last category is accountability for the day, accountability and calendaring planning. It's been mentioned and recommended that you take advantage of coaching opportunities. Terry is free. You can also pay people to coach. There within Keller Williams, there's a coaching program. It's, let's say $1,000 to talk to somebody once a week, $1,000 a month.
Paid therapists.
Yep. $450 if you do it every other. Yes. So you don't jump right into that, obviously.
But talk about accountability, because they'll give you homework and, you know, it's your money that's just going down the drain if you don't do, and what they tell you to do works. So anyway, I'm a huge fan of coaching, huge. But Gary would say, make money before you spend money. So we strongly recommend that you use the resources, everything that we're going to share with you through Ignite and that's available on MyKW and whatnot, before you spend any money. I mean, the only money that, if you get a listing, you're going to pay the photographer. The listing agent pays for the pictures up front. I mean, yes, you're going to pay to get a sign, but
And
lockbox. What'd you say?
Lockbox, that was.
Yeah.
Super.
But you don't know, y'all don't need to run out and do that. You know, don't do it till you get a listing. No. So, okay, so anybody heard of the expression time blocking? And this kind of goes back to the 80-20, staying in your 20. Gary feels like, based on our own, that everybody has more energy earlier in the day than later in the day. That you should do your 20 in the morning. It doesn't work for everybody, okay? Depending on what other responsibilities you have in your life, children, whatever. The more important thing is to, and I'm telling you, it's the hardest thing in the world, say, okay, I'm gonna lead gen from 9 to 11 every day, not Tuesdays because it's sales week. And stick to that. It is daggum hard. I can't even tell you how much money I would have made if I'd done that. Hit and miss lead gen gives you hit and miss income. And the people that are killing it in this business, they get up, they go to work, and they, not that they don't do personal things during the day or have appointments. This is the most wonderfully flexible business there is. It's wonderful. But yes, but I have a set amount of either number of phone calls or number of contacts or that I'm going to do, and you can even say this week. So there may be some days that it works for you to just, I'm going to have 20 conversations today. The more you are accountable to yourself and say, you know, if I want to make money, I got to work, then the results will come. Results will come. And so tomorrow we're going to be, the focus is on building and loving on your database. And your database is your collection of people you know, love, and trust, that know, love, and trust you, plus all the new people that you add to it that you meet and have real estate conversations with. That, you know, so to start with, none of these are closed clients, but eventually some of them hopefully will turn into closed clients. Mm-hmm. My database is a lot bigger than I don't even know how many people that I've closed with. But people that know you, like you, trust you are much more likely to do business with you than total strangers. So just from a percentage point of view, it is strongly recommended that you cultivate your, and we're going to take the people out of your phone, and I've met with most of you about this, and we're going to put them in command, not edge, we're going to put them in command, and we're going to do great things with them. So Mia Hanna is going to teach you on Wednesday. This woman, oh my gosh, you're going to want to be Mia when you grow up. She has the most gorgeous logo, branding. Now mind you, she's been doing this a million years, okay? Long time in the business. She has a beautiful website, Homes by Mia, and it's professional. Talk about consistent, talk about thorough. She has a fantastic newsletter she sends out every month. I know, I'm telling you, you're gonna wanna be Mia when you grow up.
Anxiety just thinking about it.
She will, no. She's the only person that I know in this office that does it to that level.
I'm like,
So-
I can do this.
Just remember that. That's just that's the goal, but whew, she does beautiful stuff. So listen, absorb, think. Oh, you know, you're not going to be Mia anytime soon, but she will lay out a beautiful path for you.
Wow.
And she'll talk about if you do a newsletter or whatever. What tends to work, because she's very analytical. What kind of articles do you include and what do you not include? What builds your engagement? You know, what's effective for SEO? All that kind of. She's pretty analytical about it. So that'll be that's on Wednesday, and on Thursday, Eddie Levin is going to teach about the many different ways to do lead gen. From open houses to social media to calling on FSBOs for sale by owner, calling expireds, they're cranky, I don't do that. Door knocking, oh my gosh, pop buys. There are just so many different ways that you can get in front of people, like Dominique said, get in front of people and make yourself memorable, not in a hokey way, but make yourself memorable. So if I'm only going to remember that there exist 2 real estate agents, one of them's Mark Spain, the other one better be you guys, you know. So you're going to earn that mind share. So mind share. Did you have a question?
I did. Is there a list that is available to us of FSBOs and expired listings?
Expired you can get through FMLS.
Okay.
It's just a question of doing the search, creating the search. FSBOs, more people either drive around or they go to
What are FSBOs?
for sale by owners.
Oh yeah.
Those people. Yes, who clearly want to sell their home, and a huge percentage of them, 90%, eventually list. So the typical strategy with FSBOs is if
They
you
are kind of-
call on them and they're going to be smart alecky and I can do this myself and I don't need you, blah, blah, blah. Well, there may be 10 agents that call on them, 2 the next week, 1 that, you got to have stick-to-itiveness sometimes. However, I'm going to have an agent, Renita Crawley, who just determined to get a FSBO listing. She has a great story, and she got it. So, and it wasn't in multiple visits, so she's got a fun story. So I'm going to try to have a newer agent pop in each class, just like Dominique did, to give you some real life, like,
That's cool.
here's my story, because the teachers, like Mia, might intimidate you, and you just think, oh, they're here, I'm here. Not that they act that way, but they're, like Bill Haas is one of the teachers. He'll teach about selling your listing, marketing your listing. So I want you to hear from people that haven't been at it too long, and they're not making $1 million, but they're doing something, and with a lot of people, it may not be the first week or month or 6 months, but at some point something clicks and they hit their stride. So it's a building business. Okay, let me just flip through and see if there are any other fantastic points that I want you to mark. There's a question on the test. This is so stupid. I can't even believe it's a question.
Are you on camera saying?
That's okay, because the man that made the test knows that I think it's stupid. Yeah, he doesn't work for me. Yeah, I mean, I don't work for him.
Let's be honest.
Either way.
Okay, if you would turn to page 41. Page 41. It's just such a small detail, it didn't warrant 1/50th of the exam, that's my point. Page 41.
I go 40 to 47.
You know why? Because it's,
So stupid.
okay. But I have it marked in my teacher's manual to tell you. When you are lead generating, not when you're at the gym, but when you are actually texting or making calls. Is everybody aware that there is a difference in how you sound when you're slumped in a chair versus standing up?
Yeah.
So the point is, it's recommended that when you lead gen, you stand up to make your calls because you typically have more energy, you come across as more energetic on the phone. As Stephanie is sitting there like this.
So basically sitting here like walking, pacing back and forth in the house, making calls.
Absolutely, whatever it takes. Okay, so that was the big point. Stand up when you do your lead gen.
Chase your kids.
It's a question. It's a question. I'm telling you, I just got you 2 points. Let's see if there's any other. Page 51, please. And I want you to put stars by a few things. Please tell me you have page 51.
Yes.
Okay. Tiffany, read what that truth.
Successful agents plan their days and stick to their plan.
What would be sort of the opposite of that?
Unsuccessful agents.
No, I mean, not a phrase, but give me what would it look like if you didn't?
You can just kind of
They
take
don't
the days
plan
and
their days.
Sleeping through noon
whatever
to
happens,
noon
happens,
till
and
then.
have a
Sleep till
purpose.
Uh-huh.
Fly by the city of Vance.
And say you were gonna fly by the sea. You had a plan, but then somebody
Disrupted.
invited you to, yeah, okay. So if you just, but I'm telling you, that's something to remember. Okay, Sherry, would you read, the next, sentence or so where it says, in Ignite?
In Ignite, you'll get into the habit of planning for the critical task each day, and you'll schedule activities that generate revenue first, and schedule those that maintain your business second.
Okay, please star that. Generate revenue, that's your 20, that's lead generation. And then maintain your business, that's the functional, okay, I'm showing property, I'm doing, and that seems so important. But if you devote all your time and energy to working for the clients you've already got, once that closing comes, you got nothing, honey. So sadly, you're always working for your business and working on your business, or working on your business and working in the business, however, you're doing two things. You're finding business and then you're executing business. And not that a day goes by and you don't lead generate, but don't let a week go by or 2 weeks, Because initially, none of us have, do any of us have current transactions? I know you just closed. Okay, so we're all in the finding
I'm
business.
still in the finding business too.
Yeah. Okay, Erica, would you read the sentence under time blocking?
Time blocking is a tool for organizing your day and focusing on the dollar productive activities that matter most. Remember that first you are in the business of lead generation.
Okay, give that a star. And then Eliza, nope, this is on the instructors. There's a truism, maybe on the bold list. If you erase, you must replace. So if something comes up, it's not that you can't change your schedule, but if what it is that if an emergency or a fantastic opportunity comes up when you said you're going to be lead generating, just shift it to another time in the day. Tough love, tough love. Okay, I want you to look at page 53. It's sort of a calendar. Oh, not that one. Hold on. Page 56. While you're in Ignite, so that means for the next 5 weeks, because we're skipping the week that we go to Mega Camp, you're just going to be doing the best you can. You know, getting here, going through 3 hours of class. You know, I consider it survival mode. Yes, I want you to do the daily 10-4 and building your database of people and filling in those blanks, like I don't have their home address, I don't have their email address, you know.
We're trying to get the emails.
I want you to be working on that for sure, and talking to as many people as you can about the fact that now you're in real estate. So building brand awareness, if you can relate to that. And yes, spend time on FMLS and look at properties. And tomorrow, if you are available, Cynthia Pierce in our office is participating in she's hosting a caravan along with 2 other $1 million properties. And I mean, they got some beautiful, she's having a catered lunch, somebody else is having catered
Dessert and champagne.
Dessert and champagne, and the third is a cash drawing. And I think they're all in Sandy Springs, so they're close. I'm going.
what is a
Caravan
caravan?
Springs. What
Okay.
is it? The mega thing you're talking about? What are you talking about?
So how do we find that info?
Okay, hold on. A caravan is an open house for agents.
Okay.
Oh.
Old-fashioned
come
words.
and look at it and see what we
Yes.
think, give any feedback.
Typically, yes. You go, I like to train my agents when you come in that you go back to the kitchen if that's where he or she is standing and say hello to the agent who's holding the caravan. Usually it's the listing agent, but it may not be if they're doing multiple. And then you have free reign, look all over the house, and then you'll come back to the kitchen, it's usually the kitchen, and they'll typically have a feedback form. What'd you like the most about the house? What'd you like the least? Can you recommend anything needs to be done? What do you think the price should be? Now, early on, y'all don't have a clue. I didn't have a clue. You can leave it blank. It's okay. Don't get intimidated by thinking you've got to say, truly give feedback on the price, because you don't know.
Bill did this for my house.
So the purpose of the caravan is to gain awareness of the listing among other agents who might be working with buyers that might be interested in the property. So it's both to try to help sell the listing, and then sometimes if you're having a disagreement with the seller about the price or about something you think needs to be repaired and they're refusing to do it, when you get the written feedback of your peers and then you take that to your seller, they go, oh, you mean the professionals are all saying this? So typically if you've got a listing that's just perfect and it's priced well and you know it's going to sell in quick because it's in a great price point, you don't mess with a caravan. Caravans these days are typically for the unusual, harder to sell. It doesn't look gorgeous from the outside, but it is on the inside, you know, because you want to draw agents inside.
Gotcha.
So contemporary, and there's some beautiful homes on caravan, and you typically can get free lunch. Not all of them give free lunch, but when I was your age, when I was going through Ignite, I would do a little search and look at all the caravans, not just our office, everyone in Dunwoody and Sandy Springs, and I'd typically hit 3 to 4.
And you said we can find those.
I will show you.
I've got.
I'm not going to show you today, but I know you need to run.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll see you on
Um,
Wednesday.
She's going to take Matrix Basics. Who has taken Matrix Basics? John!
I was signed up for it, but I got my foot hurt.
She come with me.
Which location
Yeah,
are they having it at?
Sandy Springs?
Yeah.
They generally had extra seats from people that didn't show.
What time is it
It's
until?
It's till 4:45. It's tough because they only have them Monday and Wednesdays, like right after this class. So it was tough to try to find a time.
Right, but John, we should look at Kennesaw for you.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
Bye. See you Wednesday or Tuesday. So I am going to go tomorrow on Caravan, and people can ride with me if you want to, or I just encourage. It's going to be gorgeous, and
And what
there's gonna
time
be
is
good
Caravan?
food. Typically they'll run from 11:30 to 1:30, sometimes 12 to 2. It's like an open. So you can pop in and out any.
But you said it's 3 houses? That's
Yes. Now, you don't have to go to all 3, but I don't think you can participate in the cash drawing unless you go to all 3.
Right.
Gotcha.
You can go to one,
When
please
I
go to
was-
Cynthia's.
When I was looking at that with my husband, I was like, what is a caravan? He said, I think it's whenever you have actual clients that you take to each of those 3 houses, and that's how you get involved. And I was like, I'm going to ask. So I'm
Right.
glad you brought it up.
Yes.
This is great.
It's mostly just for agents. So on FMLS, they will just say, they'll say, open house, you got public open house or caravan or agent. Now, sometimes when people are having caravan, they will say, yes, if you've got clients, bring them on, because,
Yeah.
the house is going to look good and whatnot. I always ask the listing agent first before I bring a client to an open house, to a caravan. Shoot. Oh, so the calendar. We're going to be just surviving while Ignite is on. We're going to do the best we can. However, after Ignite, this is just an example of how your day could go. And they block off 9 to 11 for lead gen. Again, but that's because Gary thinks we all should do it in the morning. And I'm not going to say we shouldn't, but that just doesn't work for everybody's life and responsibilities. So what I hope that you see is that he's saying, yes, you need personal time, you need family time, you need to eat, you need to sleep. It's not real estate
So many
24/7.
hours in the day, right?
Right. But if you can come up with your own schedule and stick to it, it will help you make money. Okay, I think that was the last. So there was an activity I was going to do, but oh, The One Thing is another book. Gary's written Millionaire Real Estate Agent. He wrote another book called Shift, which was during the downturn. It's got some great stuff in it. And then The One Thing is a much smaller book, easy read, large print, and it's not just real estate. So I highly recommend it. And the clarifying question is, what is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Now, so ask yourself, and it's not that you just have one thing to do all day long. It's in any moment, what is the one thing? Let's say your child comes in and they're crying and you're on a deadline and you're typing something. But in that moment, what is the one thing that you probably should do?
Soothe your child.
Stop and find out what's going on with the child. Okay. It is 9 o'clock and a friend calls and says, hey, let's go to Dunkin' Donuts. but what is the one thing that you could choose to do that you could have all the donuts in the world, but not right that second, you know, if you did your lead gen. So the mindset is, think about, in any moment, there's a, not a right and a wrong, but there are choices of what you could choose to do with each moment. And he's encouraging us to take care of your 20, and then everything else is easier and flexible. Last thing I want to,
Whatever decision promotes your growth.
okay. There is a page right before the bold laws. This page is, so it's at the back of your first session. This is actually an excerpt from the MREA 2 book. The fella that's editing the manuscript for Gary posted this on Facebook, and he's what you see in sort of teal turquoise, that's coming from Command. And throughout Ignite, I'm going to be sharing with you cool things about Command. The beauty to me is that it's going to be one-stop shop. We'll go to Command for everything. We won't have to go to .loop. We won't have to go to, not even FMLS. Everything we need, go to Command, and it touches everything.
Has eEdge been converted over to Command?
Well, it hasn't died, and everything, and there's easy peasy way to, whatever you have in eEdge, Command, it's like that.
Okay.
Absolutely. So nothing that we have is currently, I mean, it'll continue to rock on for a while, but Command is better. And the transition from eEdge to Command is the easiest of all.
Okay.
Not to worry there. .loop, some of y'all have already experienced. Our friend .loop is leaving us in favor of DocuSign, which is the industry leader in electronic signing and transaction management. In the next week or so, we'll actually get our Keller Williams Atlanta Perimeter DocuSign account, and then we'll start setting up agent accounts. The actual transition is in September. After September 15th, we won't be able to create new loops, those of you who know what I'm talking about, without paying for your own individual .loop account. But you're not going to want them, because it's going to be, and you'll get to DocuSign through Command.
And
Yes?
can we transfer loops
The
to DocuSign?
Yeah, if you have one that's in process,
Right.
you can see it through to the end with .loop even after September 15th. If it's already started, it's valid to the end.
Okay.
Keller Williams is working on a big data transfer of all closed loops from .loop to the Keller Cloud. So we have all of that. At no point will you lose access to any old data, closed data, unless you leave Keller Williams. Then you lose your logins, and therefore, So
So I look at those loops to go back and compare the different contracts and see if I filled out everything correctly the way that you all filled it out. And even some of the verbiage I take from special stipulations, I may copy and paste too.
So yeah, so that will be, you're gonna be fine.
Gotcha. Okay.
Fine. I wanted to log into Command. Did you see that? I typed the word agent, it said Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All right. The login to Command
is exactly the same as the, oh, I didn't spell my name right. Type my name right. Exactly the same as my KW. So, oh wait a minute, let me show you something else first. And I'm just giving you an overview. One of the cool things that we can do, we're tight with Google, Keller Williams. So I have connected my Google Calendar, my Gmail, and my Google Contacts with my Command account, and because of that, so I am always in sync between the two of them. Anyway, because of that, when I send emails to people, like here's Aaron, he's an agent in our office. All this stuff over here, well, he's viewing his MarketSnap, but these are, this is a record of what I was doing in Gmail. So the point is that whether I'm doing work on my computer, pretend I'm just an agent with clients, not me. I'm doing work on the computer, or I'm opening up Kelly and I'm pulling up my contact, Aaron Cotterill, and I'm sending him an email or a text or whatever. Command is keeping track of it. So I know when was the last time I called that client. Now, it doesn't, even if I call them through Kelly, it will say that I had a phone call. It doesn't record it, but you know that you had a phone call. So getting our contacts with complete information, and then I will help you get them into Command, or we'll connect your accounts. Actually, if you just get them in your Keller Williams Gmail, we're just going to connect. So there's no importing, exporting. But everybody's, I think, working on a spreadsheet right now. Aaron, because I happen to know where Aaron lives, because I have his home address. Why do I have it 3 times? Okay. Before I did this, I could click on Add Neighborhood, find on map, and you see these green things. Those, we have an agreement with Nextdoor.com, and they have a mapping system all across the country of neighborhoods. Not perfect boundaries, but for instance, I'm in a condo complex, and I'm part of a larger neighborhood that's single-family homes and my neighborhood. And so the snapshot is kind of misleading because it's a mixture, you know. So, but anyway, so Command plotted where Aaron lives because I had his address in my contact. I'm zooming in. Aha, going a little further. It now, oh, it's the Village of Belmont. And so I could say save, although I've already saved it. Yeah, that's why it's not doing it again. And then we sent, anyway, these neighborhood, there is a, you know, we talked about monthly newsletters. Well, there's a monthly neighborhood nurture that you can set up to automatically go to everybody for whom you have an address. And it's like a landing page that shows you everything that's on the market in that neighborhood, what's the best coffee shop, all this kind of cool stuff. And there's your little face, and contact me if you have any questions. So it's a branding, and this is included in, this is what they're building. Is everything perfect and everything released yet? Sadly, no. It's still in process, but it is amazing. So I got so much to share. So this is the last thing of the day. Okay, please tell me that everybody in this room is subscribed to the KW Perimeter YouTube channel.
Yes, I have.
Okay. I got a new one I want you to subscribe to. Let's see what the name is.
Okay.
Oh, I got it on here. Okay, it's, here it is. Command. So one of the new colorisms, the buzzword, command, oh, I guess this would be like the tagline, tech-enabled, culture-driven. So I want you to search for command, tech-enabled, culture-driven, and subscribe to it. And then you'll need to click on videos to see all of them. And if you go to the beginning, there's a guy who's at the Sandy Springs office, but he works with all 6 Ross Group offices, and he's created a day-by-day, here's what you need to know about command, how to get started with command. The first day, logging in. Second day, adding a contact manually. Third day, importing contacts. Fourth day, wiping your data. Oops, I just screwed the whole thing up. I need to start over. So they are, let's see, that's 5.5 minutes long is, oh, there's one for 5 minutes and 41. So this would be an on your own, if you wanna get going. So command, tech enabled, culture driven. And that's a little black lab puppy because we're labbing it, so we're doing it together. All right, kids, do I have everyone's, keep the highlighters there for you to use throughout Ignite. You got your, so Mia is going to dazzle you on Wednesday. You do sadly have to do the instructor evaluations. And I can speak for both myself and everybody else. We love feedback. Yes, you cannot leave.
I definitely wrote on this.
What do you mean, like notes?
No. Do you have another sheet? Or no?
I do.
I need one, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so when you come in every day, you're gonna sign and you're gonna pick up this. Did you get yours? No.
I'll do like 5 minutes.
And I would like to keep,
Not even that.
I would like to keep your name tags.
All right, bye.
You got yours. You got Sherry, you got one?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here we go. So I'll do it face down.
Thank you.
So, just in general,
Fold them.
are you, yeah, I'm gonna just put them face down. I'm not looking.
I was looking at that. I was looking at the name and things. That's why I was thinking fold them.
Oh.
All right, we got one more.
How's everybody feeling?
It's helpful.
I know I hate 3-hour classes. I wish they didn't have to be so daggone long.
I think it's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Actually, I don't think it's too
not
long.
too
I don't
long
think it's too
and
short.
short.
Call Terry
Yeah.
and make an appointment this week.
Excellent.
Now,
Excellent. I have all the.
where is the main entrance with like lemons and
When you go back out to the atrium,
to the left?
no, then you go, you have to go up one flight of stairs,
Okay.
and it's at that end of the building. So it's just one floor above us.
Okay.
Alright, I'll see you tomorrow for the meeting and we'll talk about, am I able to come to half of the class? Because my appointments, whenever I go to the wound care place, I could be there for 3 hours most of the time. I'll get there at 9, won't leave until 11, 12.
Wow. Okay, and which day are we talking about?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Oh, yeah. Because, you can miss 2 classes,
Well,
and we're still recording. You can
spill the beans.